And thinking of this topic that you'll be focusing on, Jesus himself was such a disruptor, but the grace that he brought into people's lives was not always recognized by the closest people to him until he hung on the cross. But those who were on the margins always saw his grace because they recognized him as Lord, even if they were not followers or friends, but they could see the grace that was in him. And he disrupted and changed their lives. And it's the same way that he disrupts and changes our lives. But sometimes we're so close that we don't actually see the grace that's working in and through him and in and through us.
Oh, it's a profound statement of the way in which the person and work of Jesus forms communities, because when the folks on the margins are brought into the center, we don't always realize that we're bringing Christ himself into the center. It's like, kind of like kneading dough, you know, when you're doing up a couple of loaves of bread, you got to bring the edges to the center and then push it in, and the edges to the center and push it in.
Absolutely. And always recognizing that there is an edge. And part of our job is to always keep our eyes on who's not included, who finds themselves or feels themselves to be on the edge. Another word that I was thinking of as I wanted to reflect on this concept of God's grace, God's amazing grace, was that the grace that we receive is actually audacious. And that's a word that really came to me. And we have to be audacious in the way we reflect on God's grace in our lives and how we can find a way to offer it out to others, because it's not ours. It's that abundant love and abundant grace that overfills and overpours, and we get it, and we need to find ways to connect with others. And sometimes we have to find audacious ways to be able to share God's grace.
One of my mentors, Bishop Terry Dance, always reminds us that kind of like the recycling symbol that we see on our blue boxes here in North America, always remember God's grace comes to you on its way somewhere else. It's on its way somewhere else. It's just going to blow right through and change everything. And then you got to be prepared for when it comes.
I've been doing some Bible study work, and it may come into what I do with as I come to visit you. But I've been doing some Bible study work on Elijah. And so just as what you've said has made me reflect on that wind that passes Elijah and disrupts his life. Now, Elijah was sent as a prophet. He did what God had called him to do. He got knocked back by the people that he went to in terms of, Jezebel and her response to him. And he started to feel, that woe is me, Lord, just bring me to you, let me die, because what they're doing and saying about me, they're going to kill me. So just bring me. And God's like, no, take some food. You're not
rest.
Take some more food.
Take it.
And it's that grace of God doesn't leave us. Even when we feel that that's why I said sometimes we don't recognize what we're getting. But God doesn't leave us in that space. He comes to us, and he comes and he finds us there. And as you rightfully say, because this is why I think of Elisha, God's grace is moving, and it's moving towards Elisha. And so Elijah has to recognize that as much as he's loved by God and sent by God, he's also being sent to prepare the next prophet to undertake the work. And we have to recognize that that's part of our role, that we are the carriers of the next work that's to be undertaken. And that's the grace that we then can offer back out, received, offered on, received, offered on. But it will disrupt our lives without a shadow of a doubt. If it doesn't, well, the Holy Spirit's not in it. And the Holy Spirit surely is a disruptor.
Absolutely.